All right. Good evening, everyone. Oops. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? No, nothing? How's that? Better? Getting there? A little more? How we doing there? All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. My name is Matt Kennicott. I'm the Executive Director of the Cannabis Association of New Mexico. This is our March monthly meeting, so thank you all very much for being here. Really appreciate it. So first, shout out to Don Romero, owner of Farmers Quality Concentrates, as well as Black Market Dispensary and Lounge. Thanks very much for hosting our meetings here on a monthly basis. The lounge portion where we're sitting right now should be officially open for consumption here in the next probably week or so. So keep an eye out for that. I want to recognize a couple of our board members here. We've got our chairman, Tony Martinez, in the back of the room. We've got Mano Otero here somewhere. I think he might be outside grabbing food. We've got Will Brandenburg from First Crop, New Mexico. We've got Barry Duncan from Rio Grande Analytics in the back. And we got Will from First Crop. Any other board members that I missed? See anybody else here? All right. Well, thanks to the board members for coming out. Thank you to everybody who's viewing online tonight, and a special shout out to our friends in Oregon from CHOW, the Cannabis Industry Association of Oregon. They're actually going to launch a similar campaign to us that we're going to be talking about later tonight. So they're joining us online to see how we're putting this together in New Mexico. It's the first of its kind in the state. Shout out to the food truck outside, the Pop-Up 505. If you guys want to grab some food while you're here, they got some tasty treats out back. It's pretty awesome. And then I wanted to give a shout out to our friends from Flow Hub, Josh and Chris, sitting right here up front. They brought these awesome branded cans of bong water. They're pretty awesome. So if you're thirsty, it's not infused, non-medicated. There's a cooler down here to my right with the waters just chilling. So go ahead and grab yourself a can or two. Say thanks to the guys at Flow Hub. If you own a dispensary, you definitely want to talk to these two guys. So make sure you get with them before things are up this evening. Let's see what else we got here. So we just finished up our legislative session, obviously. I think that's why a lot of folks are here tonight. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who turned out during the legislative session, everybody who sent comments into legislators, made phone calls. However you did it, thank you. If you remember, we had House Bill 294 in front of us. House Bill 294 made changes to cannabis packaging. It would have required us to use only black and white on our packages with a plain sans serif font. Plus, it would have required reformulation of products that were using artificial colors. The first hearing we had on it, it passed out of committee. Plain and simple, there were 4 sponsors of the bill that actually sat on that committee. So it was kind of a given that it would pass out of there. CANM the entire time worked with the sponsors, worked with CCD, specifically Kevin, who is their one of their I think he's their main attorney actually, as well as Clay Bailey, the superintendent of regulation and licensing. We tried to come to some understanding and a compromise on what could actually be good for the industry. But in the end, we were not able to come to a compromise. So the bill moved to its next committee, which was House Judiciary. And we packed the House for that hearing. Yeah, give yourselves a hand for that too, by the way. It's big stuff. It's really big stuff. So when we packed the House, really we only got a chance to have 5 people speak. But I think those 5 people made a great impact, because what we did the day before, and this was a hell of an effort on our part, I think, we were able to marshal people to call in to their legislators to tell them to vote no on this bill. There. That should have gotten rid of it. Let's try that. Sorry, we're having some feedback here in the room. No, it's all right. Fix the volume here. There we go. All right. Is that a little better? Okay. So what we did was pull together a group that called in and emailed into their legislators and made a huge impact. Show of hands, how many folks actually either watched the testimony or were in the room with us on that Saturday morning? Awesome. Yeah, that was a I don't think I've ever seen that many cannabis people in one room in Santa Fe before, other than in a dispensary. So it was amazing to see folks turn out. We worked really hard behind the scenes on this. Like I said, we met with RLD, we met with CCD, and our lobby team worked really around the clock once we found out when that bill was running to get the thing killed. And boy, did it ever get killed. So congratulations to all of you for that work. Congratulations to the CANM board for that work too. Now, what came out of that though is something very interesting. In that first hearing, and I've got to send a major shout out to Don Romero and to his creative director, Booth, yeah, Jesh Booth. We got together after that, immediately after that, or actually it was after the bill was dropped, and we worked from Friday to Sunday to put together this new campaign that we're calling Safe Cannabis New Mexico. And it's a safe cannabis storage campaign. And we've got a great start on everything here. So let me actually pull up the website here so everybody can see what we've got working. Okay, the website's back. So, Safe Cannabis New Mexico. This is a campaign that, we came up with the idea fairly quickly, and we did it in response to the problem that the legislation identified, which was child access to cannabis. So with that, we put this campaign together. I brought it to the first committee, and after the first committee, I met with a couple of legislators who very much appreciated the idea and got behind it from the start. The last week, was it last Monday that we met already? Boy, time is flying. So last Monday, we were able to bring together the Department of Health, the Poison Control Center, and the Cannabis Control Division to talk about this campaign. And what we're going to see is the full effort that's going to run here. But tonight we want to talk a little bit about the campaign and a lot about cannabis safe storage. So we've got two special guests with us tonight. But I wanted to show you this website real quick, because we pulled this together and we put some great information on here and did a good shoot. So let's watch this video real quick.
In this facility, safety is our number one priority. Ensuring cannabis is safe has always been our responsibility in the industry. We always lock up all of our cannabis products, and you should too.
Yes, thank you. This is turned into, I don't know, I guess we'd call it a passion project now at this point too. We're already picking up traction. The idea is to not only have an online presence with our website, but eventually we're looking at TV advertisements, we're looking at billboards, we're looking at radio. We want to do connected ads, so hopefully popping up on your connected TVs at home too. So we've got all of this really great stuff planned, and we're gonna hit the ground running here. Let's see. So what we want to do, what I'm going to do now is introduce our guests here. So from the New Mexico Poison and Drug Information Center, we have Jacqueline. How do I say your last name? Kakis, thank you. And from the Department of Health, we have Adrian Estrada. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and grab your microphones. So let's make sure they're turned on here. There we go. Okay. All right. Yep, you're good. All right. So, Jacqueline, let's start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do at the Poison Control Center?
Sure. I'm Jacqueline Kakis, and I work for the New Mexico Poison and Drug Information Center as their health education consultant. And what I do is primarily poison prevention education. So I go throughout the whole state, go to health fairs, do presentations, and any kind of educational venue I'm invited to, or if I can think of, I'll show up for that and get the word out.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Adrian, can you introduce yourself for us?
Sure. My name is Adrian Estrada. I'm actually a health educator with the New Mexico Department of Health Medical Cannabis and Psilocybin program. I'm very passionate about this job because I get to deal with people like my aunt and uncle, right, who think the devil's lettuce has no benefit. But then there's my Tio Perfecto, who's 94, rubbing himself with distilled alcohol and cola buds, right? So it's like this fine conundrum and balance of educating people. And what are we, 2026, and there's still so much stigma about the endocannabinoid system, the entourage effect. So that's where we get to go around either virtually or to dispensaries. We've done presentations. I'm here with my colleague Katie. She's done presentations in Glorieta. So anything we can do, our due diligence, just to kind of educate.
So tell us a little bit about what does a health educator actually do? I think that's something that a lot of folks are probably curious about.
I don't know about you at Poison Control, but if I don't have coffee, it's already a problem.
Yes.
and just the outreach and networking. For example, recently the Santa Rosa, New Mexico, the Sunrise Clinics has reached out to our program to go and talk to the students. As you guys know, though, have to get it cleared through their school board, because if I send a pamphlet home with a cannabis leaf on there, someone's going to freak out in Footloose City where you can't dance. So, yeah, that's just one of many things.
Jacqueline, what kind of health education do you do at Poison Control?
Well, like I said, I do presentations, go to health fairs, present lesson plans to school-age children, and try to focus on the at-risk communities in our state. And I think as a health educator, we wear many hats, to be honest. So it's not just educating, which is very important, but I take care of our website. I wear a lot of different hats, marketing and yada yada.
Just about everything. That's kind of how we run our cannabis businesses too. So for those of you in the industry, which is everybody in this room, we are required to put the Poison Control Center phone number on our packaging, and it's one of the main things that we're required to have there. So, Jacqueline, can you tell us a little bit about some of the calls you receive on a normal basis, not just with cannabis but other substances, and then kind of we'll go back into the cannabis calls that you get.
I think the most percentage of calls were medication related, weren't they, last year? Yeah. So you got your opioids, your benzos and stuff, like the medications that tend to be more dangerous, especially if you take them together. And it really depends on the time of the year for what kind of poisonings you're going to see. So snake season starts this April. It's usually April through October, depending on the weather patterns. So we're going to get some snake bites. Those calls will start rising. Hopefully not too high. But so yeah, it just depends on the time of year.
So we saw an article in the Santa Fe New Mexican right at the start of the legislative session, which actually precipitated this bill being introduced. So in that they spoke a little bit about the calls that have come in from cannabis over consumption, or I'm not quite sure how we want to refer to it, but really children being exposed to cannabis. So how do those calls usually what are people concerned about when they're calling in, and how do you deal with those calls?
Well, their pets, if their pets got into it, or of course their children did. Even if they don't know if they did or not, it's always best to call the Poison Center right away so we can start assessing the situation. So with the edibles, those are particularly concerning because they look just like other brownies, candies, gummies. So it's literally impossible for a child to be able to ascertain the difference between them. So if a child does get into edibles, depending on how many milligrams were consumed, it can make them as severe as a reaction as trouble breathing, labored breathing. So that's what we worry about the most with children. And just, lethargic, and that's pretty much what the pets will be doing too. Probably maybe some incontinence. So yeah, the gummies are the ones that are particularly concerning. And if it's a chocolate gummy, then if your dog got into it, then it's a double whammy, right? Because chocolate's a toxin to dogs and cats. So and dogs also really, really like the smell of cannabis. They're really attracted to it. So it's really important that all cannabis products be stored out of sight and reach of your children and pets.
I think for any of us who have been around cannabis for any amount of time, we know our pets have definitely gotten into it. Our little Frenchie loves getting into it, unfortunately. She actually knocked over a tray full of ground up flour the other night, and I think she was kind of loopy for about 2 days. So we're now doing a much better job of keeping the cannabis up and away from her. So, Adrian, when you're out and about talking with people about cannabis, what are some of the things that you talk about with safe storage?
It varies. To be honest, I even got enlightened because I was thinking, there's a concern because, it's recreational. It's accessible recreationally, so, the younger demographic. But no, there's legit accidental ingestion from the little younger ones, like you said, that can't decipher decipher what they're doing. And it really, on top of everything's been bombarded lately with the state with psilocybin, and now with this, I'm happy that we're focusing on this campaign as well, because obviously there's an issue that needs to be addressed, and I'm happy that you're taking the initiative on it instead of letting the government decide what you do.
Well, yes, we definitely like to keep the government out of our business as much as possible. But part of the reason for stepping in and launching this campaign is, and people have been saying this for years, let's have the industry lead, let's have the industry self-regulate. This is part of that. When we step up and do campaigns like this from the industry and have our government partners with us, I think that sends a pretty solid message, not just to the industry, but to just people in general. So we're very happy to be where we are right now. Have you guys ever seen an effort like this in the time that you've been working as health educators?
I don't believe so.
Aside from whatever recall CCD or LLD does now. No.
Nothing to this caliber, I don't think.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that's good to hear. Well, so we're actually going to be, one of the really cool things about this is we're going to be the first state in the country to launch a education campaign like this. It's incredible. I think that's big round of applause for that. So it's pretty cool stuff. Like I said, we've got a bunch of guests online from Oregon tonight because they want to launch a similar campaign. So we're already spreading the word across the country. So we're off to a great start. Obviously, things take a little bit of time to run through the government side of things for approvals, but as you can see tonight, we've got some great partners here already, and we're going to continue to build upon that. So, more on the safe storage side of things, what are a couple of tips that you would give to keep cannabis or kids safe at home when there is cannabis around?
So, can you repeat that again?
Sure. What are some things that you would suggest folks do at home to keep their kids safe when there's cannabis around?
Okay. So, again, like I said, stored up high, out of reach and out of sight of kids and pets. If you can, ideally, you'd be storing it in a medication lockbox or a lock bag with the rest of your potentially harmful medications, or in a locked cabinet. So if you can do that. You're going to want to store those edibles and infused drinks away from regular food and drink, as to avoid confusion. Okay. And talk to your kids about it. They should know what it looks like. They should know that it's for adults only, and potentially they could get very sick if they took it. So they should know what that looks like. When visitors come to your house, make sure that they know how to store cannabis if they've got it. And as far as other safety storage tips, you're going to want to store your cannabis in cool, dry, dark places without direct sunlight or heat, to prevent humidity and possibly microbial growth on your cannabis. And I think, and then keep them in their original packaging. So you guys all know that there's a diamond. All packages will, if you get at a dispensary, there'll be a diamond on it. Keep it in that original container to avoid confusion again. If you make your own products at home, make sure you label them so it's clear that this is not, a regular food or candy or whatever.
I think those are all very good tips. One of the things that we're working on with this campaign too is lock boxes that we can actually get branded and out to dispensaries across the state. So if anybody has any connections to some of the locking bag companies or packaging companies, please let me know. I've reached out to a couple of them already, and we're starting some conversations. But the more, the better. I really liked what you said about talking to your kids about cannabis too. Mm. Either one of you, what are some things that you would say when talking to your children? How would you address this with them, and how would you talk about it?
I know from my personal experience, just being honest about it, as much as I appreciated my northern New Mexico grandparents avoiding talking about everything, I think just being real honest about it is going to be beneficial in the long run. Just like you would educate with a gun, just like you would educate with alcohol, with anything else in life, there needs to come some structure. And don't lie to your kids, especially this new generation. They're ruthless.
Yeah.
And so don't you dare lie to them. Just be honest with them and address, even as uncomfortable as it may get, just address everything. And I think you'll be fine on that aspect.
Yeah, like if you're talking to them, if you're having that conversation about safe use of medications or talking about other potential substances that could harm them, throw cannabis in there and say, hey, this is for adults only. This is what it looks like. You need to stay away from it, because if you did have some of this, it could make you very sick.
So all great points, and I think one other thing to look for that we forget sometimes is we do have that red diamond on all of our packages, and that's something very important, I think, to talk to children about. Is when you see that red diamond, that's not for you. That's definitely not for you.
Exactly.
So this month too, we've got. Tell me about the kind of awareness week that's coming up with Safe Storage.
So from the 15th to the 21st of March, every year, the third week of March is National Poison Prevention Week. And we will definitely be talking about safe storage of cannabis as part of that campaign. And we have a bunch of ideas that you can do to participate, and I hope you guys do. Just Google New Mexico Poison Center, and under prevention, we'll have that week listed and all the stuff that we're doing and stuff that you guys might want to do in your own communities or with your children.
What are some of the things that folks can do actually through that week?
Well, they can order materials from us and distribute the magnets with our number on it, or stickers, or any kind of brochures that they want to give out to their community or their family to have that number handy in case they need it. They can educate other family members and friends about what they learned about National Poison Prevention Week. I will also be sending out an e-newsletter and participating in events locally. And I'll be sending out like wordles and puzzles and just some poison prevention tips daily for that week. So, yeah.
That is fantastic. I really like that, and definitely keep an eye out on our newsletter and email too. We'll be sending out plenty of information on that to make everybody aware as well. Chat, definitely get your questions ready. We're going to be going to questions here in a few minutes, and same with the room. Start thinking about some things you want to ask, and it could be legislative related or related to safe storage in the campaign. So. Sorry guys, there's a lot of horn honking out there. So tell us a little bit more about Adrian. What do you do out on the road? What are some things that you talk about out there?
It varies. We literally work with like local mom and shop dispensaries. My preference, by the way, in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, to some of the more prominent brands, I guess you'd call them. And the thing that I like is we're addressing terpenes, other cannabis language that maybe isn't talked about too much, or is kind of just like off the fly based on what the bud tender or the customer service rep knows. And so we're an open platform. You can literally go on our website and request a presentation. The other hot topic right now, presentation-wise for the dispensaries, is reciprocity. And with that BioTrack update that just rolled out, it shook up a couple people like a snow globe, but nothing that we haven't worked through before, right? So it's been solid. If you've been in software updates and computers, it actually went better than most times in that scenario. So reciprocity is the big one currently, for sure.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but since we've got you here, can you tell us a little bit about reciprocity and what's been going on with that?
I would love to talk about reciprocity with you fine folks. In fact, feel free to shut me up when it's time.
This is for medical cards.
Yeah, so honestly, the most prominent thing in regards to reciprocity is, so let's say I'm from Texas, and by the way, Google Texas medical cannabis when you're at it, if you really want to shake yourself up. But so let's say you're from Texas and you're in the compassionate use registry and you have your screenshots from your medical provider, right? I started as an eligibility interviewer before a health educator. So in other words, I was processing both patient and reciprocity before I got health educator. And these dispensaries are not doing the basics. So uploading a Texas ID, but then uploading your old reciprocal New Mexico ID instead of your compassionate use. So we just made it real easy and more streamlined where before you could even make a duplicate entry and, on top of an oversaturated market, we want to worry about tax fraud too, right, dispensaries? So what we've done is simplified it. They have to search before they can actually add someone in there, and just to do your due diligence. And that avoids a lot of you having to stay on the phone with waiting for us. Your customer is happier. They don't get upset because Friday they purchased reciprocal and then Monday the barcode doesn't work anymore. So just making sure that it's a nice, streamlined, pleasant customer service experience for you guys.
So for those of you that are dispensary owners or working in the dispensary, the DOH Medical Cannabis actually hosts free trainings, and they are absolutely fantastic. Will Brandenburg and I actually sat in on one a couple of months ago, and we both learned a lot of stuff. Geez, that is really zoomed in. I hope y'all like seeing the pores on my face. Jeez. I don't know. We'll fix that camera next time. Sorry about that. But I wanted to skip back over to the website real quick and show you through a little bit more of that, because we've already got some great resources built in that should pop up. There we go. Okay. So obviously we've got the video. We've just got a little statement here about the campaign and what it means. DOH actually has a really cool section on their website where, what's it called again, Adrian?
It's the Cannabis Learning Lounge.
Cannabis Learning Lounge, and they've got a bunch of great information on the Cannabis Learning Lounge, including this safe storage of cannabis flyer that we borrowed and put on our website. We'll definitely be creating more of these types of resources as we go along too. And then we've got a full FAQ here, full of a ton of information. We'll be adding to this as well, and then our first contributors to the campaign from the industry, all of our board, our company High Maintenance. So Veronica is my co-owner and girlfriend, and so we're supporting this as well. And for anybody that wants to join in the future, we're going to be reaching out to all of you to get you involved in this thing. And as you get involved, we'll make sure that your logos are showing up on this website too, so you get the recognition that you deserve for participating in this. And then we've got an information email down here at the bottom that comes directly to me. So if anybody has anything that they need to talk about this campaign, we'll be there. So is there anything else that you guys would like to add for safe storage or anything else that we've talked about this evening?
So I think I covered what I needed to say.
Yeah, I don't. You guys are on the front lines. I'm not trying to be redundant or trite or anything. So I really appreciate what you guys do for the community. If it wasn't for people like you with passion in the industry like that, who knows where New Mexico would be? And we already rank so high with so many things, right? So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Very much. We appreciate you guys too. So let's go to questions here. Veronica's gonna have her iPad and microphone, and she'll be going around the room to those folks with questions. So online chat, please get your questions ready too. I know we always get some good questions online too. So in the room, show of hands, who's got questions? Let's start over on this side of the room with Earl. Earl.
Okay. professional, but I don't think it's gonna work. Okay.
Do I
So
stand up or do I sit here?
No, you stay there. I'm gonna do everything. And
If I could first, just say, hey, Don from Farmers, thank you. I think there's other people I should thank that have helped me in this industry, and but I'm gonna take a left turn here. The gentleman to the far left. I apologize. What's your name? James?
You just say that guy with the face. Agent.
You refer to psilocybin a lot. And to be honest with you, I love psilocybin. And so, is that something that's going to be coming up in New Mexico? Like, are we going to see psilocybin? Like, because I started smoking weed at a very early age in Santa Fe, and I loved it. And now I grow it. And now I sell it. And I enjoy it, but I've also always enjoyed psilocybin. And you've brought it up, so so can we talk about that?
Sure, let me touch on it. And I'm so sorry to bombard you. Literally, I've been in the propagation and doing so many minutes in my life, but I love it. All I'll say is that it's going really well. Dr. Dominic Zerlo has been doing all the meetings. I know Katie's been involved with some, and I've been on the other half, but the schedule's been chaotic. It's kind of leveling out. The only other thing I would say about psilocybin is it was anticipated by the end of next year, right? But that the path that our director's going, they're actually anticipating for the end of this year. And I would just invite you to go to our website and sign up for the newsletter. And I promise, be careful what you ask for, buddy. Careful what you ask for.
I've actually been attending some of the working group meetings online, and they're awesome. They're open to the public. Highly recommend if you're interested in psilocybin in New Mexico, hop on those meetings. They're very, very interesting. Who else? Who else has got questions out here? We're talking legislative session, things that went down there, safe storage campaign. I know we've got folks that want to ask questions. We've got.
make me start doing a comedy skit, guys.
We got Don over here.
First off, the food's great. You guys go check out the food truck. Yeah, the session was cool. We didn't think we were gonna get to talk about cannabis, and we kind of were just gonna go and be there and introduce ourselves. And yeah, we ended up, in my opinion, attempting to fight for something for the industry, and I think it went well. I think they heard our voices, and yeah, they like the program we put together, the campaign we put together, and now we've got some traction where they want to actually talk to us as an association. So I think that's a great step, and I think, like I've said before, there's such a big disconnect, I think, between the regulators and the actual industry. And yeah, I'm excited, and I'm, thinking positive that yeah, these meetings and stuff that we're forming will go good, and the industry will start to kind of shape in a better, more connected way. So yeah, I'm proud of everybody that showed up, and yeah, I'm glad it went the way it did.
Yeah, Don, thanks for saying that. Actually, when we launched this organization late last year, the slogan was "You're either on the table or at the table." And after this legislative session, we're definitely at the table, because tomorrow our board is going to go meet with CCD. We're going to sit down with the superintendent, Clay Bailey. We're going to sit down with Todd Stevenson, the director of CCD, and we're also going to have Nick Morning, the director of compliance there. Specifically, we're going to be chatting about packaging, but they also asked us for a list of other issues that we can discuss while we're there. So we're working those out as an organization and a board, and we're going to go chat with CCD tomorrow about these things before they begin enforcing some of the regulations that that we're looking at. We go back to Donnie. No, no. Okay, we've got another question in house.
My name's Anna Maria. Nice to meet everyone. My question is, has there been any changes in the cap as far as high dose edibles go or packaging in that? I know that there is right now there's no cap as how many milligrams per unit, but the actual dosage has to be no more than 50. Is there any changes, any updates on that?
Adrian, you want to take that?
That's a wonderful question. Yes, there's a recall going on right now. There hasn't been any change on that. It's still 50 milligrams per medical. My brother laughed because he said he burped 100 milligrams, but I digress. So, for the connoisseurs and the high tolerant users, but, yeah, it's still the same. And I forget the exact name, and I should know it because I read the email 100 times today, but the song remains the same.
Great question, by the way. Thank you for that. By the way, I need to give a shout out to Joe Anderson. He is the director of the Poison Control Center. Thanks for being here, Joe. And also to Katie Freitag. She's with the Department of Health, Medical Cannabis and Psilocybin Program as well. And Katie actually is on the mic.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, I'm Katie Freitag with the Department of Health Medical Cannabis Program. I work with Adrian. We're both health educators. And I just wanted to circle back to Matt's question about how to speak to your children about cannabis. I think it can be such a daunting conversation for many. And on our Cannabis Learning Lounge on our website, we have a whole page document with different ways to talk to your kids about cannabis. So I just wanted to point people in that direction if they want some conversation starters.
Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Other questions? Remember, legislative session, safe storage, whatever you want to ask. Tony or who are we going? Chelsea.
I'm curious what's going on with BioTrack being I'm curious about what's going on with BioTrack being replaced by another third-party company.
Good question. We're actually going to ask for a full update on that tomorrow when we meet with CCD, and I'll be able to provide a better update next meeting. Long story short, I've been talking with Todd quite a bit about the development of the new track and trace system. Industry will have a seat at the table. We've been promised that we'll have a seat at the table as this new thing's being built out. So if you're unaware, the state went back out to RFP for a new track and trace system because the previous RFP, they found that the bidder that was selected had some cost issues. They went back out and I want to say it was late, what month are we in now? We're in March. Late January, they selected Real-Time Solutions. They're actually a local Albuquerque firm. They've done a lot of building of a lot of different government sites, including New Mexico's Sunshine Portal. So I've got great hope that we're going to be working with an excellent group. I'm actually going to chat with Todd a little bit too about how we get vendors in the door to help out with this as well, because there's a ton of stuff that needs to be done on the back end, including APIs for vendors like our friends from FlowHub to be able to connect to a system. So stay tuned for updates. I'm going to be providing a lot of those as we move forward because I know that's a very big topic for everybody in the room. Tony?
Not a question, but just had more of a comment of thank you for so many of you showing up. Logistically, we were having breaker troubles when everybody was coming in. So if you didn't scan in, please scan the QR code and just sign in before you go so we can document that you were here. If you catch the Farm Table podcast that I did with Donnie very recently, just to lay out the timeline, that was before the House Judiciary Committee hearing, which is the one where the attorneys and representatives that composed that committee asked very good questions. They limited our speakers, as Matt said, to 5. So at first we were pretty disappointed that we weren't going to get to voice more opposition. But with the committee asking such great questions, what needed to be said was said. And so thank you all for supporting us. Please consider becoming a member if you aren't already. So that way we can continue this momentum and build an industry that regulates itself and is well regulated. So yeah, and then also on a shout out to the DOH for that reciprocity training. My staff went through it; they spoke highly of it. We are now able to accept cards in an organized fashion and in a compliant way. So thank you for the resources that you provided, and it was a smooth process from what I hear.
I appreciate hearing that because I was a bud tender once upon a time ago. And so in our oversaturated market, the last thing I wanted to do was fight with BioTrack and reciprocity. So I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
And we all love fighting with BioTrack, don't we?
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Let's go back to Earl.
So listen, 5 speak at the roundhouse. But in our leader's infinite wisdom, he said, hey, get on Zoom, because Zoom has another 5.
3.
And so guess what? I got to be on Zoom and I got to talk, for better or worse, but it did get killed, you know, so at least I didn't mess it up.
You did great, Earl.
Okay. But the point is only 5 there in person, and then there was another 5 to be online. And you texted me the night before saying, hey man, get online and try to do this online. You know, you directed me and it worked out, and I was so thankful to be part of that. That's it.
We're part of that, honestly, and thank you for coming up during our lobby day too. That was a great day as well. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So good. You know, that there was a ton of work that was put in behind the scenes, not just on our parts. We had another friend of the industry here earlier tonight, Jeff Apodaca. Jeff actually works on the hemp side of things with a lot of the hemp guys, and he made calls to legislators for us. We really turned as many people out to make calls and send emails as possible. So it was just a really good showing, and I'm super proud of everybody who really helped out with that effort. It was fantastic. Yeah, definitely a big hand for that. Other questions? Legislative, safe storage, reciprocity.
Random outbursts.
Exactly. No questions? No more questions? Oh, we got a couple up front here.
Hello. Yes, I was just wondering if there's been an update regarding the opaque packaging possibility requirement.
There is currently opaque packaging required in the current Cannabis Regulation Act, as well as in sections of the rule. So if you're not using opaque packaging yet, please do. There really hasn't been a change on it. It sits where it was this time last year.
Is that for exiting out the dispensary, or is that for the end product, like the edible bag being see-through, right? That can't be. Okay, just making sure. No, I've seen some. We're good. I was just checking. I thought that it was going to potentially change, or there was something mentioned of that in the legislation.
Yeah, you're right. That was actually in a potential rule update from last September. That was actually another hearing that we packed the room for, and CCD actually ended up pausing implementation of those rules, and I'm not sure that they're going to come up again for quite some time. You're welcome. Good question. Who else? Any other questions out there? Anything you're curious about? I had one from Jacqueline on chat, but I'm sorry, Jacqueline, it didn't come through. So if you want to ask that again, please do. Anybody else here in the room want to ask a question or anything you're curious about?
While she's typing up her question, maybe just clarify for some people that weren't fully informed on how that's a lot of how we ended up meeting this bill, was showing that the rules that they were asking for in many ways were already on the books. It was simply came down to enforcement, them not having they didn't feel like they had the grounds to go and enforce, but they were challenged by several attorneys that composed the committee, and those attorneys interpreted as there's plenty of teeth here in the CRA
Yeah, that's a good point, Tony. For folks online, Tony basically asked, give a little breakdown of how the committee kind of addressed this. So you're right, Tony. The attorneys on that panel were really sharp to what was actually going on, and that was where some of the behind the scenes work came in. We had our lobbyists contact or be in touch with some of those legislators on the panel. I worked with a couple of them as well to talk to them about how we felt about it and maybe even potentially ask a couple of questions. One of the legislators, Representative Andy Reeb from the Clovis area, she actually used to be the district attorney out there, carried the legislation 2 years ago to prohibit cartoons and child attractive packaging from being put on shelves. So she was one of the attorneys in the committee that was asking really good questions of the folks on the witness stand, the legislators that were presenting. She said to me when we sat down with her, I thought we fixed this 2 years ago, and I said yes. This is more of an enforcement issue than it is something that needs to be changed in law. If you look at the Cannabis Regulation Act and you look at the regulations that we work under, we've got language in there that says that packaging cannot be attractive to children. You can't use cartoons, no celebrity likenesses. And up until this point, and we did make this point with CCD, and this is part of the reason that we're sitting down tomorrow, is there's been very little enforcement on that type of packaging that's in the market. So we're hoping to really be able to work with them to establish criteria rather than them just going out and picking what they feel is attractive to children. We want to sit down with them and work on probably a checklist or an SOP, something similar, to show, hey, these are the things that we're looking at, and this is the criteria that we're using to establish whether or not something is attractive to a child. So we've got a lot of work to do there, but I think we've got a good shot of really working with CCD on developing this criteria. Any other questions? Anything? All right. Yeah, right back here, Tricia. Veronica.
It's not really a question. I just, as a 2-decade cannabis advocate and cannabis attorney, I just wanted to say thank you very much. You're doing exactly what we need to do. We need to self-regulate so they don't need to regulate us. We don't need their regulations. We're taking care of ourselves. And this is exactly the way to do it. So thank you.
Thank you. So it takes a team. We've got an amazing team. The board is absolutely fantastic and has really been kicking ass on everything that we've put into place and the wheels that we've put in motion. Everybody in this room has definitely contributed in some way or another. So it's a great team. I feel like we're gaining momentum in coming together as an industry, and the packed room tonight really shows that. So thank you all very much. Adrian, Jacqueline, Katie, Joe, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. Once we officially kick this campaign off, we're in what I would call a soft launch right now. Definitely keep an eye out for resources that you can be putting in your dispensaries. We've got an example poster sitting up here. We're going to be designing more of these. This is just the first look. This is something that we're going to get into dispensaries across the state, including lock boxes. We'll have videos that you can put up on your screens in your dispensaries and all kinds of other really cool stuff. So thank you guys very much for being here tonight. Our next meeting is in April, and we'll send out an official announcement of that. We'll plan on having another food truck here, and next month we'll actually be able to consume after the meeting too. So we'll look forward to that. Yes.
Should I talk a little bit about the destigmatization?
Yes, actually, please.
Okay. So we would like folks to know that when callers when they call us, we are not connected with the police. We're not going to turn you into the police or any kind of law enforcement. What we are focused on is getting the caller the best medical attention possible. And if that means that we can safely manage that poisoning at home, we'll do so. If not, we'll get you to the nearest ER and triage you all the way through. And that number is 1-800-222-1222. Thanks.
1-800-222-1222. You should all know that anyway because it's on the back of all your packaging, right? All right. Well, thank you for that. I missed that point. Destigmatization is something that we're all working on every day. So really, if people call poison control, there's no harm in that. There's no shade going to be thrown your way for that either. It's a resource to help people. So if you're having issues, please refer people there. One of the things we want to work on is getting some cannabis-specific folks in there eventually. So that'll be something for down the road that we'll talk about later. So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We'll see you next month, and go out there and do good things. Thank you.
shut up.